Hi, everybody. So today is Saturday. That means it's time for family movie night. And today we are continuing on our Jane Austen month, and we are talking about the Hallmark movie from last year. We're talking about Paging Mr. Darcy. And it was really fun on a Hallmark channel last year. They had an entire month to Jane Austen, which was very creative for them. It's something they have never done before, and they may not ever do again because it wasn't that successful. But I was very nervous going into it because their Austen themed movies have been in name only. I was nervous that this was just going to be a bunch of movies with like Lizzie Bennet as a lead character, but no actual like relation to Pride and Prejudice or Sense and Sensibility or that kind of thing. But for the most part, the movies were actually pretty good. And last year for Family Movie Night, for Jane Austen Month, I reviewed An American in Austen, and that was one of my favorites, if not my favorite Hallmark movie from last year. And it was a really, really good movie. But another good one from last year is Paging Mr. Darcy. And this movie stars Mallory Jensen and Will Kemp. And I think it was a pretty clever take uh, on the Austen material and it's just a good story. So you have Mallory Jansen, and she plays this woman named Eloise, and Eloise is a scholar of Jane Austen. I've always been a little bit frustrated by people who put Jane Austen in the same camp as somebody like a Julia Quinn or Georgette Heyer, or sort of this like in entertaining, sort of this entertaining but not substantive writing class. And I feel like they can do that with romances just in general, that just because they are romances, they're inherently less valuable as pieces of literature. And sometimes that happens even with Jane Austen, and that's frustrating. But what's interesting about this movie is you have Mallory's character, you have Eloise, who has taken that to the extreme. She has basically tried to remove all romance from Jane Austen and from the stories. And she wants to treat them as completely academic, as completely serious literature, and has kind of removed the fun out of the stories. And so this was like an interesting kind of took what I sometimes feel and took it to like the next level of things. So that was an interesting character, and her arc over the course of the movie was good. It was a nuanced, interesting arc. And so what happens is she's going to this uh symposium basically, and she's going to speak, and they found out that her dream job is working at Princeton, and her mentor, there's somebody she really admires, this woman that she really admires, the head of the department at Princeton, is there. But it turns out that this woman, Victoria Jennings, played by Carolyn Scott, she is like the opposite of Eloise. She is a romantic. She loves the romanticism of the books. She doesn't really want to talk academics. She doesn't really want to deep dive into the characters or the themes or the social, messaging, things like that in the books. And so if Eloise wants to get this job, then she has to all of a sudden play the part of the romantic and actually sort of learn to appreciate the books on that level. And that was my favorite aspect of this movie, is to see her go from this like academic appreciation of Austen to this more sort of nuanced and really seeing the crowd pleasing elements of Austen here. That was really fun. Plus, she not only gets to learn those things, but she also gets to be part of balls, and she gets to dress up, and she gets to, all those things. And even at the beginning, so Will Kemp plays her love interest in this, and he is a basically like a cosplayer at this symposium, and playing basically Darcy kind of character. He picks her up at the airport, and she's like completely embarrassed about it, completely embarrassed to have him there, and so she tries to not take the ride with him. She tries to get a ride share. She can't get a ride share, and so they end up bantering. But she's very dismissive of him at the beginning, and she finds out that he is, I think, the nephew, I think, of Victoria Jennings. And so then she's sort of interested, and it's a little bit unclear of like why he would be interested in her. I and his character isn't like very well developed, but like he's very charming and really fits that kind of Darcy image. He's not like a jerk like Darcy, but just the handsome, regal, charismatic kind of character. And so you get that. We also get her sister, played by Lillian Dochette Roach, who I interviewed just this last season. And she's a lot in this movie. She's like the opposite of Eloise because she's like a full blown romantic. And she says no to her boyfriend when he proposes because she thinks it was a lackadaisical, lazy proposal and she wants this big, elaborate thing. So she's really the opposite. She's a lot in this movie. She does a good job with what's asked of her, but a lot of personality going on here, and so that might be a little grating for some viewers. But I still overall enjoyed the film, and what I enjoyed the most was seeing this evolution of Eloise as she comes to appreciate Austen more and just appreciate romance more and feel like she deserves romance, believes in romance more, and sort of the back and forth between her and Sam is good. I think they have pretty good chemistry, Will Kemp and Mallory Jansen. So that's good. They have a nice dancing scene, which is always nice when you get with Will, because he's a trained dancer, and of course, Christmas Waltz is one of my all-time favorites. So it's always fun to see some dancing. The ending is a lot of fun. And you kind of make it's a very crowd pleasing ending. So this takes some of the things about Austenland that had potential, which I really disliked Austenland, but this takes some of those themes about sort of Jane Austen fandom and explores them more. And what I like is so you have Eloise, who kind of she's like a huge Austen fan. Obviously, she's an academic. She's dedicated her whole life to Austen, but she also kind of turns her nose up at people who just enjoy it, who like the romance, who have a more entertaining view of Jane Austen and her writing and her characters and the romance. So she has to learn to appreciate those aspects, which was, I think, a pretty good story. And I think Mallory Jansen was quite good in this role. So yeah, overall, I enjoyed this one. I think it's a fun story, good romance, has something interesting things to say, good acting. And so let me know what you think of Paging Mr. Darcy. Did you like it, not like it? Where do you land on it? I would love to hear it in the comment section or on Twitter. And I'll put a link to our recap of Jane Austen Month if you want to hear, like right after they aired, what I thought of this movie, and also an American and Austen, definitely. And I'll put a link down to American Austen review as well. So, and I have the playlist with all of my Jane Austen Month reviews over the years. I've been doing it for like 7 years, I think I've been doing this, so a long time. So again, let me know what you think of this movie and all the other Jane Austen reviews. And please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. And you can follow me at Rachel's Reviews all over social media and everywhere. Check out the Patreon group. That's the biggest way you can support what we're doing. And you can be part of Patreon votes, where you can decide what we are going to be reviewing, me and my friends, and other cool perks. You can be part of our Patreon watch-alongs and Q&As. Definitely check that out. And then we have our merch store, which is fun. We got a lot of fun designs. We have some Jane Austen inspired designs, so take a look at that. And thanks so much, everybody. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye.